7 o'clock. We will get it underway. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. On this rather warm night. Let's hope it continues. There is, no, I got to do that first. 4.1, adoption of committee minutes. Minutes be adopted by the Plympton-Wyoming Special Events Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed sessions of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with exemptions provided in the minutes of freedom of information and protection of privacy. And I am referring to the October 7th Special Events Committee meeting minutes and the October 23rd Christmas in the Village meeting minutes. They are in the package here that we have. Number one, is there any changes to the Special Events Committee meeting minutes? Being none, is there anything for the Christmas in the Village meeting minutes?
I just would question about something in the minutes. Would you like me to ask that now or hold it to business arising one of the previous meetings, Mr. Chair?
Probably business arising.
Okay, I'll hold them until then.
So I have a motion here. Moved by Mike Nagel, seconded by Ingrid Morgan. The minutes be adopted by the Special Events Committee and that those confidential minutes of the closed sessions remain confidential. And as I said that before, all in favor? Carried, thank you. There's one thing I want to add to the agenda under 9.2. Yep, no, I didn't do that one. Just a reminder that the meeting's being streamed live and recorded on the town's YouTube channel. I want to add 9.2 sponsorship form. Everybody okay with that addition? Anyone else have anything addition for the agenda? Okay, so moving on, number 6, Halloween spectacular recap. I'll do a little bit and then Melissa, I'll turn it over to you. It was great for our first foray at it. It really was great. We weren't really sure how it was going to go, just like Easter. We weren't sure how it was going to go. It turned out quite well. The magician was phenomenal. Lots of comments. What do you want to?
I think overall the event went really well. I think we had about 100 kids or so, which is good. We had about 220 people interested in the event on Facebook, so I think we expected a little more than what we got, but nonetheless, it was still well received. I think some of us have pointed out during the actual event that maybe next year, if we decide to do this event again, we'll move around the timings a bit more. Some people came right off the bat and then didn't stay, so they missed the magician. And then we had Twisted Chris after the magician, and the event was pretty much over after the costume parade and the pumpkin carving contest. So we probably could have moved stuff around to maybe make a better use of the upfront time. But overall, everyone was really happy. We did have a couple of kids that came really close to the end as we were packing up. Chris still stayed and made them balloon animals, which was great because they were happy to walk away with something. We did decide last minute to do chips and juice boxes for the kids. So we did end up getting enough in donations to cover that cost, which was good. I think we had about $127 in donations. Our costs associated with the chips and juice boxes were about 110. So we didn't get much over breaking even, but we still at least covered the cost of those, which was great. The photo backdrop that Brenda did was gorgeous. Everyone loved the look of it and it was really well received. The magician, like Brad said, was really great. And everyone really liked the treat bags with the bags that we got from the firemen, and then just all the extra little bits that we had to put in there as well, so those were also great. Does anybody else have any other comments from Halloween?
I'll just add to 100 kids is pretty good, because I'm pretty sure the same day, same time, Bryce Grove was doing an event called Spooktacular or something like that, so, and that's right next door, so I think 100 kids is, it's mostly local people probably, so I think it's pretty good.
I think we're probably expecting our Easter all over again, and
Yes.
our hopes were up high, but I think it was more reasonable what we got.
Yeah,
One of the families suggested, had mentioned that there was an event going on at Arrow Village School that day too.
I think there was 9 in total that we found in the area between petroleum, all the different areas that were on the go. Things that happen, you can't really control. I had a call from one of the ladies that had done the cookies, and phenomenal. She was so happy to be included. And I told her to figure out how to get some of her product available from, maybe have her as a food vendor. One of our events next year. So she was very thrilled to be able to do for us what she did.
What are we doing with the leftover cookies and candies and everything from the event?
so the candy was my Halloween candy I brought just in case. So that I
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
that I did not expense. The leftover cookies are in my freezer for once we realized we weren't gonna have as many kids, we prioritized the orange. And we kept the white, so they are in my freezer for Christmas in the Village. White with chocolate.
And me candies, I meant the chips and the juice.
Oh.
Sorry.
So the extra chips, we returned.
Okay.
The juice boxes we're gonna hang on to for Easter because the chips expired, I think in December or something like that, so they weren't gonna be any good to us. The juice boxes are like I think September 2025 or something, so.
Thank you.
No additives in them.
No, 100% juice. But it was nice to have a few other options. It was very nice of the Optimist to cook for us. I think it maybe would have been better received if we'd had hot dogs for the kids. But I don't know how much control we have over that, so.
The older kids appreciated what they were serving.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I think some of the adults were probably very happy as well, but yeah.
I think I speak on behalf of the Lion, the Optimist. They had the executive change, and then their fellow who takes care of the kitchen, he ended up getting sick. And he wasn't available, and then they, at the last minute, they had to put another guy in charge, and it was a little bit confusing.
Yes.
But it all came together about, what, an hour before the event?
Yes.
A little close, but it worked out. It worked out.
And it was very nice of Jill to come and do the fortune telling.
She messaged me and she absolutely had a ball. So that was good. Kids were mesmerized by what she had told.
And I think the scheduling could be pretty easily fixed by in your advertising, you just put from whatever it was 11 till 3, right? But then in some of the other wire stuff, we actually put the times out. As long as I think in our main advertising, we match the scheduling right through, and then don't leave long pause after the last event because people are just gone.
Yes.
I think that would probably be helpful.
Yeah, I think we had done the Chris top to fill in that time. And then gone from the magician to the costume parade and then ended the event. Something to keep in mind for next year. But definitely it was I would say it was definitely more successful than our Halloween event and like when it was a couple of years ago, so.
Yeah, quick, because I think we only had about 30.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, it's good. I was happy with how it went, so. You just get bigger and better. Sure, if we do, so. Anybody else have anything in comments for the spectacular event?
It was good to have it in Camp Lackey for sure. Well, this was the first event I've attended, obviously, and I thought it was great. The kids were definitely having a lot of fun, even though we had a few last minute throw togethers like the food. I thought it went really, really well, and I'm excited to see, the next event. And I'll get involved, a little more involved than I was on this one, so that was good.
It's good, thank you. Gary, did you want to do your business horizon from the mid?
Yeah, sure, Brad, thanks. And Christmas in the Village, I was going through the minutes of the meeting and I guess number one, the date I understood possibly got changed from when the meeting was scheduled. Some individuals that weren't able to make it or didn't know about it. I just didn't know if that date had been circulated, whether it was in your chat group or with everybody that's involved. My second question is, this, music, this team. Does that take the place of the, choir that we had before?
Yes, they aren't available. I reached out to them a long time ago and they weren't available.
And there'll be a cost for this gentleman? Like, what's he do? Tapes music or what's,
Mike, do you want to explain it? Because Mike's the one that found them.
oh, okay.
He's chair of the Celebration of Lights Committee.
First, aren't you?
They do a live band there, but they can't really do a live band unless we have enclosed heated conditions because of the electric guitars.
Oh,
Yeah, so we said if we're able to provide a heater, then they are happy to have instruments. If we are unable to provide a heater, then it'll be him and his daughter and potentially another one or two people singing along to pre-recorded music.
yeah, electric equipment in the snow doesn't work too well, does it? No. And we know what the donation would be towards them.
But I believe it's
300.
300.
And he's also going to sing at the tree lighting
Oh,
and then
good.
move over to the Lions.
That takes a lot of pressure off the mayor and Santa Claus trying to get the kids singing.
So I think the idea was that he would potentially be there up top while people are arriving.
Okay.
And then he'll sing again at the tree and then he'll come back and do just some small music as well.
Oh, that's good. Good to know. I didn't know that. The other thing that I saw there in item 8 under subsection J. What's the explanation behind certain beverages with a portable beverage trailer from J&E Meats? What's the history behind that, or what's the discussion point?
So a while ago, it was talked about at one of the subcommittee meetings about different things to have for Christmas in the Village. And last year we had given away free apple cider. And this year we decided not to give away free apple cider, but we thought we would have this lady in with a little beverage cart trailer, I guess it is. And then she does coffee. So instead of the Legion offering free coffee, we would have her free hot chocolate. We would have her offer coffee to people and then we would just pick up that tab as a donation on our part to the event.
Did you run that by the Legion? Like they seem to be donating that, I would believe.
So I think the idea was that the Legion would still do their hot chocolate and then this would just be another option if somebody wanted a free coffee or if they wanted a latte, cappuccino, whatever. It would just give people more options for hot drinks. And it would also, she's a local vendor, so it would also kind of help bring a little more ambiance to the event, and then someone local to offer additional beverages.
You have to lay out dollars for her to come.
That would be part of our budget for it.
I think it depends if we decide to just have her come and let her sell whatever she wants to sell.
She's not going to, no.
Okay.
So I've received a lot of backlash from the other committees for it. Don't quite understand why, I'll be honest, because it is our contribution to the event. There's zero cost to the event. We're picking up as part of our tab for the event. So I have no problem that people handing out popcorn and hot chocolate or people handing out hot dogs. But there seems to be a problem with us handing out coffee. If we decide to nix the idea, we nix the idea, but I mean, I just fail to understand why. So that was, I guess, in a nutshell, what's going on with that.
I wasn't at the last meeting and I don't, part of the subcommittee stuff, so I don't take offense, but I'm just asking questions because I didn't.
And the event, the date Mike circulated on an email to everyone to see what dates. He offered a few different dates to the list of Christmas in the Village participants to see what dates would work. Everybody that had responded to him by the deadline had said
Everybody but one wanted the 23rd.
so, yeah, so that's how we,
Hear back from, say, 4 or 5 different groups didn't respond.
Did you notify our CAO?
That's my fault. I apologize to Adam. I did forget because he wasn't there last year. So I guess I didn't have him on my list to give to Mike for this year. But we will be having another one coming up. I'm not sure when. But he is already marked down on the list to attend. And I guess if you want to attend as well, Gary, you're welcome.
I just have a question too, building off that, because I know at one point at the committee meeting, we talked about the coffee trailer and doing specialty drinks and all that stuff. And I know, is it the Lioness that are doing drinks inside now?
so we had talked about having a liquor license so that you could have specialty drinks outside of. So I didn't realize that the Lions Hall serves alcohol during the event. I guess they have every year. But they are not interested in fencing off the area so that we could have an outdoor area for drinks. So there's always been drinks offered. There will still be drinks offered, but they will be inside only. So part of what we thought would have been a nice ambiance was having specialty drinks outside where people could sit by the fire, converse.
Security and fencing that area, it's just not feasible for that kind of.
Well, I mean, they do an outdoor bar for their music in the summer, so it's not that they haven't done it before.
Scope of people.
So our initial idea was that it would have been nice to have the coffee trailer with specialty coffees. That's not an option, but we thought it would be nice to have a local business there with just other beverage options to try to draw in a bit more of a different crowd. Because I mean, I think the point that a lot of us have brought up is that Christmas in the Village is a very family event. There's not a lot that's going to attract anybody that doesn't have kids that want to go see Santa. I mean, the inside is full of kids with their letter writing to Santa, which is great. But you're not going to go and stand in there and have a drink. You're going to want to be outside. So you could go outside and roast some marshmallows. You could go for the wagon rides, but there's nothing to really keep you there as an adult. So that was part of our thinking, but it's obviously
It's a
not.
very true statement, but forgive me for being the Debbie Downer as I am, the risk and liability between a family event and an adult event serving alcohol in an open area is significantly different, especially when you have open fires, very difficult access control points, nighttime. It gets much more challenging to mitigate those risks in that situation. People are going to be more prone to trips and falls in already a dim lit area. It's a big challenge to do that in that specific area if you want to license it.
It might be a better option for in the future if we decide to move Christmas in the Village to a bigger area. I think obviously at this point it's not gonna work this year, which is, it's fine. It's just, it would be nice if we had another draw for adults to attend the event.
Oh, I agree. The specialty coffees, I like the idea of that. However, I don't know if I like the potential cost of that. We won't know how much it'll cost until everything's said and done.
So our concept was to offer like a drip brewed coffee at our expense, and specialty coffees would be on whoever is buying them.
I can handle that.
Yes,
Because we know, I'm sure we've all been to Starbucks. We know that specialty coffees can climb in price very quickly.
yes. So if you want a triple espresso, you have to pay for it, but if you'd like just a house drip coffee, and I think we're still waiting for Emma to confirm what the actual cost estimate would be on it as well. Which is obviously going to be a deciding factor.
Does it sound like that's a make or break thing for her? Because for example, if the Lions are wanting to do coffee because it's an option and it's something they want to do for the community, in fairness to them,
I don't think they do coffee. I think there's hot chocolate.
there's hot chocolate from the Legion.
Yeah. I don't think anybody offers coffee though.
Well, I wasn't at that meeting. I've just been talking to
Yeah.
people like Mike on the side. And it sounds like he thought we were doing coffee as in drip from the office and serving it, not paying for it from a third party. So that's where the confusion and concern is coming, I think, in fairness to them. So is that a deciding factor that she's only coming if we're paying for drip coffee, or is she still happy to have a captive audience to sell her lattes? Or
Yeah, she's still happy to have exposure. I've just been so busy working. He has to call her Thursday or Friday of last week, but I think it's one of the things that I thought we'd have her out at one of the subcommittee meetings, just to kind of get a handle on what she can or can't do. I guess, you know, if all of a sudden some other committee decides that they want to all of a sudden add coffee to the mix, then, you know, we don't have to have her. I guess, thinking it was our kind of extra contribution to grow the event.
And I was also worried about the cost too, because we were already at 300 for that. So I was under the impression we were paying for like that for lattes, espressos, and Americanos. That would be like $2,500.
We don't have that kind of thing.
So it's one of the things that has been a problem. But at this point in time, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, I guess is my thought. On those minutes there, it shows you what everybody else from the different committees is going to contribute. There is going to be a vendor market at night for that event. I don't think it went over well last year. But we're not gonna bother having it this year. The Lionesses are still doing the daytime.
Sorry. And do we find out, has a Legion met yet about the second carriage?
They are conscious that they would be meeting, but I don't think they have just yet. He was supposed to let me know when they do meet.
That could potentially be another thing that we're.
Also some confusion around where the bench seating came from last year. So last year we had benches around the fire pits.
From the town.
If there are picnic tables, possibly. I'm not aware of having benches,
There
so.
were benches.
I thought it was the fire department myself.
The Ag Society wouldn't have anything?
No, if they don't have benches, I'm just wondering if it came from the Legion.
Oh, maybe.
Nobody seems to know where they came from. I know they were there.
Bench ferry.
The bench berries.
Mike brought something.
Mike didn't seem to know where they were from though, so. So maybe we'll all put on our thinking caps to see where benches come from.
Which groups weren't there?
So Brad, going back to continue with what Alex said on that item B about the horse carriage, the third place winner last year. I mentioned to them, they get the first ride.
Yes.
We throw them in that carriage and they'll have their own private ride.
That's fine.
So I'll set it up with them to be here at whatever time, pick it off and they go first.
Yeah, nope, that's totally fine.
So everybody knows that I'll take care of that actually.
Yep, nope, that's totally
I
fine.
don't think the whole committee was there. We did talk initially about potentially having two different lines for the horse and carriage ride. Some people upset about which carriage they got into last year. There was a lot of concerns over the space behind that, so we are just gonna do the same thing we did last year. Everybody stands in one line, you get in whatever carriage you get in, and it is what it is.
Yeah, you don't want it easy for people to be selective. You get what you get.
Except these people.
Except
Yes, except for the people that have
The third place
certificates.
winner.
People, it's up to the people if they want to choose to wait. That's, you know, if they've been waiting for 45 minutes or whatever, they can wait another 40. You know what I mean? It's up to them. If they want to wait for another carriage. So yeah, I will find out from the Legion whether they will cover the second carriage or not, or if not, we can do like we did last year. We covered it ourselves. I said that we would provide the Egg Society with the sign in the back because, the other carriage driver took off with it last year. Didn't seem to find it, so I told him I would,
Barn somewhere.
Good sign.
And we will try our hardest to remember to get the sign.
yeah.
We decorate the carriages like with lights or anything.
The one comes decorated, the other does not. And we don't decorate them.
Is there something we maybe want to do to decorate it? So they're a little, you know what I mean, to make them a little festive? I mean, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Like you could go into Walmart and, get some garland, bows and stuff like that.
They don't typically show up with the horses until just before the event,
Okay.
so it would make it a little bit of a time crunch to do that.
Okay.
I also don't know how they would feel about us decorating them.
Okay.
That's a personal thing for horse people. They will have lights on the back too for the safety aspect, but they don't usually like people decorating their stuff.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of money on them, so. Yeah. That's a good thought though, Ingrid.
So, do we want to kind of quickly go through what we would like to see for a budget then at this time for? Since we're talking about Christmas in the Village. This has to be approved this month. An idea. So I'm just gonna kind of rhyme off a couple things here that I have thought of. So we will have the first prize for the lighting competition, the second prize for the lighting competition. We did 3 last year. We're only, I think, only do 2 this year because we're going to add the first prize for a business or commercial lighting competition. Certificate holders again for the winners, posters to advertise the lighting competition, posters for community or the Christmas event. I have newspaper ads, Alex's Facebook advertising for both events. Horse carriage number 1, horse carriage number 2. In talking to the people running the tractor parade, they need some signage, so I talked about that with them. I got a price for that. We'll do a special sign for the event that night that has all of the contributors in one way, shape, or form to that event, and that is above and beyond our sponsorship sign. This is strictly a Christmas in the Village sign. Candy for kids. I put something in there for that. And then the music fee for Holtz. So I had a rough budget of about 3,700 minus whatever we get in for horse carriage number 1 and number 2. So one of the horses carriage has been covered by the Egg Society already. So that just leaves what happens with the second horse carriage. So if we have both horse carriages covered, then our budget's down to roughly 2,000.
I don't know that we need to add in the independent.
We not go there this week, please.
So
Yeah, you may, I just would encourage you to consider doing to the independent.
it's fine.
Maybe want to check last week's edition, so
Sounds great.
some burn marks.
And for what it's worth, we had 462 people in that Facebook event last year, and we're already at 740 with no paid ads, so.
Can we, in the ad for the independent, can we make something, can we add something in for the lighting competition? Cause that is the one thing that we have a really hard time advertising online.
Yep.
But would be very easy to advertise in the independent.
For which,
The lighting competition, we have a really hard time advertising online because it's a contest.
Oh,
That'd be perfect. The main part of your independent ad should probably be the lighting competition, and then the minor part of the ad should be for Christmas at the Village.
because I think last year's winner's already got his stuff up.
We can turn it on.
I think you purchased the day
Out
out.
a few times apparently.
Sorry, Brad, how much did you have in there for Facebook?
Does this competition also include the folks in Kamlaki, or is it just Wyoming?
Everywhere.
So it's the whole, okay,
For the community as a whole, even though it happens here in Wyoming.
okay, fair enough.
We took a tour last year of all the ones that had signed up.
Yeah, and we posted the map online so that people could kind of follow along.
Okay.
And I think, I don't know how we did it last year, Alex. I think we did like a Google form or something to sign up for the lighting competition.
Yeah, and I can just copy the
Yeah.
form and change the name.
I think we should also make it very clear that they should show up on the night of Christmas in the Village, because that is when we are announcing the winner, and we will hand out prizes that night as well, so.
Also, we can find it.
You did the route map, right? It was through GIS?
I used like a separate software, but I can do it again once we have it. Yeah, just so it's a little more pretty than GIS maps.
So Ingrid, since you weren't here last year, what had happened is two or three of the committee members got together a couple days before the cutoff date. No, that's not right. Just after the cutoff date.
Yeah.
And before the event. And they went around one night or two nights to kind of judge.
And we did give them a heads up that.
Yeah.
That we'll be judging between this time and this time, so have all your lights on and ready to go.
Oh, perfect.
So that's what we did last year. So we probably will do the same again this year. One night, I think it was last year, and 2 or 3 people went out and kind of went around, so.
Yeah, on the forum, we did have there to be at the event for
Okay.
the announcement, but since we're collecting emails, we can also send them an email to.
Yeah, well, I think it doesn't mind to, or it wouldn't hurt to send them an email like the day of judging, saying we will be around judging between X and X time tonight.
Yeah, they don't want to see a couple of cars parked out in front of their place.
Of course.
They might want to just make sure the lights are on for while you're there instead of draining their seeing their hydro bill spin faster than the meter.
So just so you know, financially where we stand, we are, I believe, approximately 8280 before Christmas in the Village event. Now, the reason why there's enough money in there is because of the Canada Day event. We didn't complete the full thing, which we would have 400, 3,500 off this total to get where we're at now. So that's why it's a little taller. But yeah, I went through the best I could based on kind of what we put out last year and bumped it up about 15 to 20%. So I had about 3,700 for a budget for the event
For revenues.
before any revenues come in for. Which we know one is for sure coming in. It's just the other one. Oh,
You're gonna have a couple, Brett. I think the lodge is gonna donate some money.
yes, the Masons are donating.
I suggest there was a donation made that did not make it to this agenda. So there are some donations that you were anticipating that'll be on there.
350 may also end up being a little low for Cindy.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because we were using those pops too, right? I just. Cake pops for the.
Oh,
cookie
right,
things,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes, I wonder if we want to get more that match though. Cause we probably have about 100, I didn't count them, but I guess we've got close to 150. 300, right? And did you guys make some bags with white or did all the white? Yeah, so maybe we probably have like 130 conservatively. Yeah. So I feel like maybe if we had another 150 cake pops or 150 something, like maybe we could do white or sorry, red. And then do we need to do, like, could we just do the cake pops as our gift after Santa? Like she wrapped them up really
Considering
nicely.
the other clubs are doing, I think just us doing the K-pops is probably reasonable.
Yeah, like she wrapped them up really nicely. They looked really good. And it's easy to hand out and then the kids can eat them whenever they want.
I'm fine.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, but I'm guessing. I imagine if we have any left, we can probably donate them to one of the Christmas hamper programs, because the hampers wouldn't have gone out by then and they can add them in. Right?
Sure what?
What?
December 14th.
We packaged already. Yeah, I think we delivered.
Maybe we can donate them to one of those in the area.
They have pretty strict stuff about bringing food in.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are,
The boys home, I think will still take it.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, we can I'm sure we can find somewhere.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Or sell again.
So I imagine maybe another 200 on the other side.
Wonder. I can reach out to her and see if she's interested.
Maybe red with white sprinkles.
Perfect. If they don't all go, we can actually just throw them in the freezer and save them for Canada Day.
Exactly.
Like the thinking.
We're on YouTube. I'm gonna save my comments.
Oh, yeah, we can, so at 3,700 then, like I said, we know 950 is coming off the top already. Right?
Yeah.
So do you want to just keep it at
Yeah.
3,700? Cause and there's other donations I know that has come in, so we've got money to play with there.
Did you allow for prizes in that too?
Yes,
So Brad, just going back to your lighting, you're just doing first and second for the residential?
Yep.
And then first for business?
correct, yeah.
No second for business.
I mean, we could always change it if we get a lot of businesses that enter, we could decide a last minute addition, but
You don't necessarily even have to advertise it. You can just do it at the event. Guess what? We had a second prize.
Yeah.
Are the prizes cash or do we have something physically back?
Gift cards
Oh, okay.
last year to local
business.
business.
Yeah, so I think we'd let them pick the local business. within
Yeah, I
reason.
had reached out to them to ask.
Thank you.
And then I think first place we gave, was it the carriage ride we gave third place? Was that what they got? We just wanted to give first place a carriage ride too.
No, we
Or-
can't. That's
yeah.
something we can figure out down the road. Doesn't cost us anything, so.
Yeah. Cause we can let third have their carriage ride first and then first can go second.
Are you okay with penciling in 3,700 then for budget? Need a motion for that then.
I motion we spend $3,700 on business in the village for. To cover off advertising and. There are things that I had a list in front of me. Advertising, the potential cost of the horse and carriages, as well as. Additional expenses. Thank you.
Second.
Ended by Gord. All in favor? Carried, thank you.
Or the Masons?
No, they just donate money.
Okay, and then what, the cost will go inside with the.
So last year we had. The committee talked about, we'd all got shirts, you need a shirt, right, Ingrid? So we'll talk about that afterwards. There should be a couple floating around. Committee members that aren't here anymore, whether we got them back, I don't know.
I have Jill's shirt. I don't know if Jessica ever returned her shirt from the town.
I don't
I think. Yeah, I think we'll talk about it after.
So a while ago, last year, actually, we had talked about using tubes for colder weather. So I went and talked to Uptown here Solutions. and they're able to get the same blue as what our shirts were, and we would get embroidered on there, the events committee logo, and I think she came in at $15 toque. And I said 10, so 10 or 11, I think it was, but anyway, I don't know whether that's something you guys would like to do this year. Get toques or not. Colder weather. Or whether you would wear them.
There's one way to tell who we are. We'll have the, actually,
I think the toques will be nice. I think there was a comment too, I'm assuming the town has lots of orange safety vests.
Actually, the Egg Society is gonna donate
Oh, are they? Okay.
the safety events.
That's-
We don't, all of our safety vests are like personal vests. Everyone has their own set of gear. So we don't have a stock of safety vests laying around necessarily.
If you need more, let me know. I have an in to get us some donated.
But yeah, no, actually, the Egg Society graciously donated the safety vests
Oh, perfect.
for that. And I would think there would be more than enough, right, Kate? Like they'd be more than 10. Okay.
Size right, because most of those are worn without winter jackets underneath. Think we'd be okay though.
Yeah, we'll try to get them a couple days early and see.
Maybe try them sooner than we could go to Ingrid's Plan B.
Yeah.
The ones that I'm thinking of that I had at where I worked, had the Velcro, so they actually were adjustable to go over your winter coats or whatever else. So they worked really, really well that way. So there was no specific fit, you know, it could fit on just about anybody and everybody and did. Very helpful in that respect.
Well, appreciate that contribution there if need be. We will definitely.
You know,
definitely-
getting back to the toques, though, I think that is a very good idea to have those with the winter boots, the t-shirts or the golf shirts. Obviously won't be visible during the colder weather, so I think that's a good route to go. And I think $15 is very reasonable, to be honest with you. I know where I worked before, I organized all the golf shirts and hats. And this is a couple of years ago, I was paying like over $10 embroidered at the time, and this was back a few years, and with the cost of inflation. I think 15 is a good price, quite honestly.
Any other comments? So I have a motion here moved by Gord, seconded by Melissa, that the special events committee approves spending $170 on tubes for committee members. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I will touch base with her. Yeah, Christmas lighting competition, we kind of 6.4, we've already kind of talked about that one already. It's on Facebook, some preliminary information. And then we will get Alex to update it as we kind of decide more details, but I don't really think there's a lot more to decide, really.
I was just gonna say,
honest.
we can finalize it right now if we want.
Yeah, because there's not much
The
more.
only dates that we need to finalize are the deadline to submit and the judging. And based on what we did last year in terms of closest to the event, if we did the same, it would be deadline to accept entries would be December 6th, which is a Friday. And then the judging would take place on the following, like the next day on Saturday or Sunday, the 7th or 8th. Is the structure we had last year if we want to do the weekend before the event.
I think that sounds fine to me. I don't know who wants to do the judging this year. I don't mind doing it, but me personally, I would rather go on like a Monday night person. But
That's a good point.
I don't know what anybody else feels like. Yeah, Monday is probably better.
You want to make, you want to just, I guess depending on how many we get, you can probably just do it on that one night.
Yeah,
So we'll
so
just say it's December 9th between 6:30 and 8:30.
Yeah.
We don't have an events committee meeting, no, it'll be the following Monday. Question with the calendar in front of me. So that form is ready for you guys if we want to
Okay.
put that form line as
And then 6.5, Community Foundation grant ideas and submission. Well, that deadline is coming up. And we decided last month that we have our thinking caps on and come back to this event, this meeting. And what we would like to ask for a amount from the Community Foundation grant. Last year, we asked for 2,000 and received 2,000, which went towards the one of the Christmas items for the event this year. So the floor is open.
I think realistically, because of the limitations of the event, or sorry, of the committee grant, it has to go to an event in Wyoming. So for our committee's purposes, we really need to spend it on either the picnic in the park or Christmas in the village. I think for longevity of use, Christmas in the village probably makes more sense. I think it would be nice. I think it's repetitive, unfortunately, but I think it's our best option. I think it would be nice to spend the money on giving Santa a nicer spot to sit, which Santa was open to. So I mean, I think we can either generically ask for more money for Christmas in the village, or if we maybe a little bit too specific, but specifically say we want to invest money in getting a better spot for Santa to sit. That kind of elevates the event a little more. But I'm open to other suggestions as well.
Melissa, I only caught part of that. What were you looking for this time for a project? It's for Christmas in the Village. I got that part.
Yeah, so right now Santa sits on a red chair in the corner. So just something to make that area a little nicer. So to have maybe something like we had looked at that like giant ball that you could actually walk through, or like something like that where you would actually have a much nicer thing to sit in and to make it a bit more of an event.
So the money that we got this last year for this committee, that went towards that display.
Christmas tree, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yes,
think something like that really enhances what the event is about.
yes.
And if you had something more along that line to enhance and make it bigger.
Yeah.
Committee probably would look at that. I don't sit on that committee, but I know what they go through other organizations, so.
I think we were pretty generic last year and I think we just asked for money for Christmas in the village.
It was for decoration specifically.
Okay, so I mean. I don't know how much information we can provide them. I don't know if we can explain to them that, you know, this year we spent the money that you gave us on this tree that's going to be part of Christmas in the village and be on display for the town to enjoy for the rest of the season. And we're looking to add additional decor to Christmas in the village. That might leave it a bit more vague.
Let me go first.
Just a quick question, because of course I wasn't here last year. So do we have it inside, the Christmas in the Village? Does Santa sit inside the building and
He's outside,
he's outside?
yes, so
So what we
depending on-
had at the Halloween party was the backdrop that Brenda put together. So even something like that for Santa to sit in front of, and I mean, why couldn't we get a nicer seating area, maybe a bench of some sort? Or even a sleigh, and you can buy these online.
So we
pretty
did-
Expensively.
So we did look at adding a backdrop, which isn't in our budget, but we.
It's not in the budget.
Adding anyway, but
We ask for it in the grants.
the backdrop is only gonna be a couple $100s. So last year we asked for 2,000 for the grant. I think we'll probably ask for something similar, maybe 2,000, 2,500. I think somewhere kind of sitting around there is probably an appropriate amount to ask for.
Yeah. Like with wood and some nails and some paint, we could easily make something up,
Yes.
right? To have a
Biggest
nice
problem is.
area.
Yeah.
And then in front of the backdrop that we're talking about.
Our-
Nice to have something really festive and, for the kids as well, but especially for the kids. And then there could be photo ops with Santa, everything.
Our biggest problem is always storage though, so. at some point in the next year, we are going to need to invest in storage.
What about at the fairgrounds? We don't have room in there? Oh, okay, sorry, this is new to me.
So we've talked before about purchasing a sea can. Store things in, which is probably what we're leaning towards. But we were worried about our budget last year or this year, so we didn't go forward with it. Although we probably have enough of a budget to purchase one hopefully next year or early next year, so that we can amalgamate all of our stuff in one place. So whatever we do with the money, we have to be cognizant of where it's going to go. So that's why with the tree, it was very important that it collapses and becomes very small. Because Mike and Brad's garages are getting very full and their wives are unhappy. So other than spending the money on Christmas in the village, does anybody have any other thoughts on what else we should spend it on? Or is everyone in agreement that if we are gonna ask for money, we should ask for Christmas in the village? Yeah. As far as amounts go, does everyone feel comfortable with 2,000 or?
One of the things, having dealt with the community foundation for a while, you have to confirm when you file this year's application that you have spent that money on that project and that his project is completed. So from what I'm hearing, it sounds to me like you have done that project, but you have to confirm that in your application form. Secondly, with your new project, you have to establish what that is. And I think from what I'm hearing, you're sounding like you like to enhance the decorations for the community to be involved with and to enjoy, and enhancing all that stuff for Santa Claus. I don't know if you need to get into the weeds, but you can give them a good idea of what you want, because the committee's going to look at this application, say, okay, oh yeah, this is what they've done in the past. It's a good event. Your name. We're gonna go yay, because it enhances what you've been doing. So that's the only thing I would suggest to you is whatever you select, make sure it enhances what you've got, whether it's more decorations or something like that.
Does it have to be specific that, you know, the backdrop would be X number of dollars and just a general?
It's a very flexible grant.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We were fairly generic last year because we knew we wanted to enhance the decorations for Christmas in the village, but we weren't sure what we were going to do yet.
So I think adding the extra information about enhancing the Santa Claus display area. Whatever adjectives and verbs you want to put in there to make it sound more exciting, is not a bad idea if that's what you want to concentrate your decorating funds on for 2025.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
So here's a thought, why not add decorating for the event as well as accompanying storage and try and put another 25 in?
Because they do look at. There's not a lot of money in that association, so they kind of do look at each thing. The committee can ask for it, but there's only so much money to go around, right? So
I think
storage is not as that committee's storage is probably not as much of a victory as it is enhancing the event itself.
Yeah. I think maybe let's do 2,500 and do enhance Santa's area.
Fine with that.
Trust me, I thought while you guys were all talking, buying storage through that grant, and it doesn't really fit the initiatives. They don't really like funding operational items, and that is unfortunately a very operational item.
Operation or bricks and mortar.
Yeah. So that could fall into both.
Yeah. Very much.
And they like to see an asset so they can point to something that we purchased or we funded. You can see that plain as day in your face versus
Very much.
said the operating dollars, very different.
Sea cans don't provide very good photo opportunities.
No, you're right.
Look at there.
Do you take?
Well, you do the grant submissions, right? So, yeah, so are we all in favor then of having Nicole write the submission for us for the community foundation grant for 2,500 for enhancements to the Christmas in the Village Santa's seating?
I would go seat, no, it's just me. They say seating
Into area
The area, yeah.
and decorations.
and decorations.
Is when they see this tree, that's gonna,
Can we attach, how does the grant work? Like, is it an online submission?
It's a physical form. Paper form.
Oh, okay, so,
the old fashioned way.
um. Okay, but I mean, taking a picture of the tree isn't going to help us because it's not aesthetically pleasing unless it's in a
Lit up.
video and outside, yes.
Yes.
Only seeing Brad put the star at the top, that would be.
So do people get together then after the fact, once we've got the grant approved as to, you know, we're gonna purchase this and do this, like, do we have a subcommittee that would look after that?
Major purchases should be done at the full committee level,
Okay.
but yes, the subcommittee would probably come together, decide what they want to bring here to get approved.
Yeah, so next year in January, when we're mapping out our events, we'll look at what we have available for funds. Obviously, if we are successful in the grant, that has to be earmarked for Christmas in the Village, and then kind of backing out what other events we want to do and how much we want to spend on them.
No, sounds good. Thank you.
So
Sorry, I asked a lot of questions.
speaking of the mega tree, so once we're done the event, I sent Nicole a video that we took it on Sunday night. I fired it up and did a first trial run of 3 songs, just. The wiring is currently backwards in one of them, so it's not a big deal. That's easy fixed, but anyway, so after the events, or after this meeting's over, we'll run it so you guys can get an idea of how. It's just awesome, I will say. It's just awesome to see the 16-foot tall tree.
Put it out at the mayor's house, you know. Field there.
What you wish
And then into the
for.
competition.
Say he wants to win the competition.
I'll move it up here for the. Yeah.
So regarding that tree, is it possible in a town's perspective to get extra insurance for the month of December for that tree? Because it's going to be there. It's not on town property though.
Where's it going to be?
It'll be at the Lions grounds.
Just came up with another suggestion.
I don't know if we necessarily need extra insurance, but just some sort of
More confirmation that our
confirmation that it's covered by our.
insurance covers it.
It's not crazy expensive by any means, but it's,
Labor time.
we're not paying you hourly.
No, I know.
But it's late on Brook Street, I hear.
So I just was thinking of that, you know, just to make sure it's protected. That's all.
That might be looking the answer for that in a week or two. I understand our contacted our insurance company's on vacation this week, so it'll be before I get a response, but
Yep, no, that's fine. Just something I was wanting to bring forward on that. So we all approved the campaign. Moving on to new business, 2025 budget consideration. So last year we put in a request for budget consideration, 7,500. And considering the scope of the events we had this year, the cost of the events, and what would be having to pay out if we had a full Canada Day and carrying just a little bit forward until next year, I would definitely think 7,500 is what should be asked for, again, for budget considerations.
Especially considering that we are going to need to invest in storage for sure.
Yep.
That's gonna have to come out of our budget next year. I feel strongly differently.
So can you repeat how much we had this year versus what you're proposing for next year?
We had 7,500 last year, just the same amount.
So we do have some carry forward from last year.
Oh, okay.
But our Canada Day event was canceled this year because of the weather. So that's kind of given us a little bit of extra budget room this year. And what percentage of our money comes from donations?
Or the percentage number of brewers. I think majority.
Yeah,
And we also had money left over because the Canada Day grant.
Yeah.
The following.
right.
so we have a fair amount of our funds come from donations as well, from community members. So it's always kind of hit or miss whether or not we'll be the same or better or worse next year, so.
Okay, thank you.
We all hope for better though.
Hence why 9.2 is on there.
Sponsorship.
So are we okay then asking? I need that as a motion. Not really, it's not requesting, well, just requesting money, yeah. Yep. So I have a motion moved by Mike, seconded by Ingrid, that we ask the budget committee for the town of Wyoming for $7,500 for the events committee. All in favor? Carried, thank you.
Well, that motion will say Plympton-Wyoming, right?
Sorry. Yep. 9.2 sponsorship. So I've already had few requests already of people wanting to donate money for next year. I already said that this year is full and they're not going to get any bang for their buck, and they totally understand that. And so there's two companies that I know it's a little early to get the sponsorship forms out, but it is and it isn't. Some companies, one of them last year made their decision to donate for the following year at the end of December, right? I would suspect that would be the same again for that one. So I have a sponsorship form here that we did last year. The only difference, obviously, other than changing the dates, I really think that the sponsorship levels of 100, 250, 500, 1,000 are working. I think they've worked for the last 3 years. I think what they get in lieu of their sponsorship or works fine. Last year on the back of the poster, we were delayed in getting them out at the decent time because we were trying to put our 2024 events on the back. And I would just recommend taking that off the back this year because it was very fluid this year, and I'd rather not set in stone when we're asking for dollars. So I guess I'm just letting you know that if it's all right, if I send out very simply revised 2025 sponsorship request to these two companies that are local.
I think it's fine. I think it probably doesn't hurt if we have any contacts of large organizations too. Most of their year ends are in November,
Yep.
so we might as well start sending them out to them as well.
So once the event's over, you guys can just take a quick look at it. It's like I said, there's only about 2024 went to 2025. And we put on there charitable, or we put on there I talked to Mike about it, and we put on a spot, warmest regards, committee member's name and their phone number. Okay. That's the only changes that have been done really for the last 3 years to this particular form. And if it's okay, then I probably would for the December meeting, bring the sponsorship forms with me to hand out that time for the possible large commercial companies would like to before the end of the year. So if you guys are okay with that, I will send out the two that have been asking to donate money, which is nice.
I think too, probably for January, we should all, our first meeting in January, we should all be ready with our thinking caps on what we want to do for events.
Yep, for sure. Does anyone else have anything they need to talk about?
One more thing from Christmas in the Village. We were chatting about just kind of ways to, at the committee, at the Christmas in the Village meeting, we were talking about ways to decorate going up the street from the Lions Hall to the tree. Don Wakefield had, I think it was Don, yeah, had mentioned, like paper bags with
Oh,
like
Mike.
little,
Mike did that.
oh, it's Mike, okay. Paper
No,
bag.
Mike, Santa
Basically.
Claus.
Okay.
Easy.
Had mentioned, bags with maybe like little battery operated tea lights or something to kind of nicely light the way. So I don't know. I feel like that's not necessarily a bad option. I don't know if we want to try to monetize them in any way. Can monetize them in any way, but maybe have like different families sponsoring the bags with their name on the bag. Or we can also just look at the cost of them on their own as well.
How many do you think we would need?
I mean, I think to make it look nice, you'd probably need a couple hundred at least.
One thing about the paper bags, if there's snow or rain, you're gonna have soggy, can't go with, I don't recommend going with the paper, or we'd have to do something that's got, even some of that cellophane wrap that, you know, you use on gift baskets and stuff from florists, that would at least would keep it dry and would still have the clear view to it, and we could actually use some red ribbon or whatever on the top to make it decorative as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could find something that we could keep reusing year over year.
And you could, right? It's just a matter of turning it off. Or let the battery run out, whichever comes first.
So maybe just something to kind of think about, and maybe we can all look into options on what something like that might cost. Because we should make a decision on something like that soon. I assume there's no issues town-wise doing anything like that.
Selling, yes. For donation, no. Yes, if we're selling something as a corporate entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine this year we will probably price it out and try to do it on our own. I think trying to do any sort of donations behind it is probably gonna get messy.
Not really much time for that.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's my concern. It's something that was discussed,
It can look really nice until they start getting kicked.
someone kicks it as a football.
Yeah,
How big are they?
I mean, it just like, you, like,
Like-
our thought was like a normal, yeah,
I've seen it in Florida many times. The concept is neat. I'm just not sure how well it would work with the snow. With the kicking, you know,
I don't know if there's.
Running up.
You'd have to have some weight to hold it down so the wind doesn't pick it up too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's something else that anybody's seen at Christmas markets that kind of lights the way nicely.
Fence.
Hey, I know where we can get some of that.
That we do have in stock.
Very good. Oh, I know, crime scene tape, all the way down.
Do not cross.
well, the parade, the tractor parade, the committee is going to be meeting in the next week or two anyway, so I'm not gonna really say anything about the parade until they kind of talk about it, other than it's going to be starting this year at the fairgrounds, ending at the fairground. So they're gonna be kind of working out the route and where the tractors are gonna park. So there's a lot of kind of open-endedness right now to the tractor parade. So other than it's going to be much bigger is the last conversation that was had, which is great. So yeah, that's all I have to say really on that, because it's too early right now. They have their meeting, I think. Yep. Nothing else? Nope. Okay, I have a motion here moved by Charlene and seconded by Gord that the Special Events Committee be adjourned until the next event committee meeting to be held on December 2nd at 7 p.m. Thank you. Man, once we're off the call, if you want to pull up that tree